Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are two diseases that kind of fall under IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease. Both of these are autoimmune disorders. They cause inflammation in the GI tract. The main difference being ulcerative colitis causes inflammation in the large intestine, and it typically only involves the mucosa, which is the innermost lining. For Crohn's disease, you can actually have any inflammation from your nose all the way down to your anus, which is a long way to have inflammation. And so, you know, there are a lot of common symptoms such as diarrhea, you can have blood in the stool, a lot of abdominal pain, fatigue. Those kind of things are in common with both types of inflammatory bowel disease that we're talking about, so Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. But there are some differences in treatments depending on disease extent and location of the inflammation that you've got that can change up how your symptoms are. And you know, there are times of flare-ups and then there are times of remission. So you've got active disease when you're in a flare-up, which means you've got active inflammation that are causing these unwanted symptoms. And then you've got times where you're in remission, which is basically where you're symptom-free. You can live a little bit of a better life at that time, right? But the idea between both of them is to find a treatment that gets you the longest lasting remission until, you know, there's enough research to find a cure for these diseases. I was diagnosed at 19 years old with ulcerative colitis. At that point, I was in college and suddenly I just had really bad abdominal pain and diarrhea all of a sudden that was really urgent. I started, you know, finding blood in my stool, which was more, I guess, nerve-wracking at that time. I didn't know what to expect, right? So I was actually hospitalized for an acute flare a couple of days after that, and that's where I was diagnosed with severe ulcerative colitis. We tried all the medications we could, and it turned out that I had medically refractory ulcerative colitis, which meant that all of the medication that we were trying, my body just wasn't reacting to in the way that we had hoped. And so with that, I ended up having surgery to remove my entire large intestine. They did another 2 surgeries to create a J pouch, which unfortunately failed, and so they had to excise that. I've had abdominal reconstruction after that as well, and a couple of emergency surgeries for bowel obstructions, which is something that can happen as well. But you know, for the most part now, comparatively, I mean, you know, before when I still had my large intestine, I was in the bathroom 35 or more times in a 24-hour period. I was really small. I'd gone down to 80 pounds, and so I was really just not doing so great at the time. And now I feel healthier and I have my ileostomy. I was really afraid to have an ileostomy bag for the longest time because I was, you know, I didn't want to have a poop bag stuck to my belly forever, and I didn't know what that was going to mean for what I wear or what I could do activity-wise. But honestly, since having my ileostomy, I was able to do a whole lot more. You know, I have a lot more freedom with my ileostomy, which is really nice. So for those who have ileostomies or colostomies, you know, it does give them that little bit of freedom, better quality of life for sure. And you know, for Crohn's disease, it's a little different because you can have an ileostomy or a colostomy and it isn't quite as curative, or it doesn't bring as much relief because you still can have inflammation in different parts of your bowel. But you know, it still provides relief for them, and it gives the rest of their intestines time to, or their GI tract time to heal. The Gutsy Walk is Crohn's and Colitis Canada's largest national fundraiser, and this is for the community of people who have inflammatory bowel disease or the support systems of patients living with inflammatory bowel disease to come together and raise funds towards research, you know, to find a cure, also to better and fund patient programs. Our Gutsy Walk is happening on Sunday, June 5th here at St. Vincent Park behind me. Registration opens at 11. You can come at 10:30 though, because we'll have some fun things happening. To register, you can go to gutsywalk.ca. There are still a couple of weeks before the walk, so you can register. At that point, most of our fundraising is done virtually, and so it's nice and easy. There is a virtual component also to this walk, which is really nice. So if anybody like myself, when I still had a large intestine, I couldn't go to some of the walks because I was unwell. And so that virtual aspect gives those who are in a flare-up right now the ability to still be involved in the community in a way that they can be, which I find is really, really wonderful. So definitely gutsywalk.ca. You can go there to register and start raising funds towards finding a cure and to better these patient programs. You can also check out at Get Gutsy Simcoe on Facebook or on Instagram. Let's start walking.